There's 4 days till Christmas, and today's DIY Vlogmas is so exciting. I just got a new sewing room, as I have been saying over and over again, because I'm super excited about it, but I'm really trying to keep it as clean as possible, which is so hard for me. So I want to keep the table pretty bare, but that doesn't make sense because there are definitely things that you need when you sew: scissors, pins, thread, and all of that. So what do you do with it? I have a solution for you guys. Before we get into that, I have a goal to reach 100,000 subscribers before the end of the year. You guys have been doing amazing subscribing. Thank you guys so much. But if you haven't subscribed, definitely subscribe and definitely share this video so that everyone knows all the awesome stuff that's going on this channel. All right, let's get into it.
All right, so of course I searched Pinterest for solutions, and I actually don't really like anything hanging down in front of me when I'm sewing, and I didn't want anything attached to my sewing machine. But this did give me an idea to attach it to the table. I thought about how I naturally like to sew and designed this specifically for how I like to sew. And I made the one next to my serger a little different because I use them differently. And I encourage you to think about ways you can customize this to how you use your sewing machine, and definitely put your customizations in the comments to help others. Okay, the first thing you do is measure your tabletop and the thickness. And for this project, I'm going to use an old canvas-like curtain as the fabric. This is ideal for me because the color blends with the table and it's pretty strong. I'll also use some large eyelets, golf tees, and some stuffing for the pincushion part, and some elastic and a button at the end. So I'll cut 2 5-inch wide strips off the end of the curtain. And you just want to make sure that the length is long enough to wrap the whole top of your table plus a little bit underneath. And then if you want a pocket for scissors and a pincushion, cut another 11-inch strip, and keep in mind that my edges are finished, so if yours aren't, add another about 1/2 inch for seam allowance. Now lay that strip in between your 2 long strips about 6 inches away from one end. Fold under the end that's towards the middle if it's not already hemmed, and pin it in place. And definitely check out my tutorial for this amazing little phone holder, fabric weight pincushion. Honestly, it does everything. Alright, and if you want to add a place to hold some spools of thread, fold the top layer back and mark where you want to put your spools. I'm just adding a few for whatever threads I need for each project, but you can certainly fill the whole end with rows and rows of thread spools, whatever works for you. Then you'll cut little holes where you marked and add the eyelets. And if you've never done eyelets before, make sure you buy the eyelet kit. It'll have a piece that goes on the bottom and a metal piece for the top that you can hammer down to close the eyelets. And for next to my serger, I'll add a magnet instead of the thread. I've always had this magnet next to my serger to hold my tweezers for threading the serger because I hate when I lose it. So to do this, I'll just add another strip long enough to cover it, plus seam allowance on each end. I'll fold it under on each side and pin it over the magnet. Now I can test to make sure the magnet still works through the fabric. Yes, perfect. Next, add the other long strip on top and sew down both sides. Like I said before, my ends are already hemmed, so I didn't sew them closed. But if yours aren't already hemmed, just sew one end closed so that you are able to turn it right side out. And don't sew the ends closed all the way on the eyelet side because you need to be able to get those golf tees inside. Now turn it right side out and press it flat with an iron. Next, add a seam across the width about 2 inches from the bottom of your scissor pocket for the pincushion. Fill it with stuffing and then sew it closed. Then you can add your golf tees and or magnet into position and sew them in place. For the magnet, I just sewed each side down around the magnet, but be warned because the magnet was pretty stuck to the metal plate on my sewing machine. And as I was sewing, I was actually worried that all the metal parts were not going to operate properly because of the magnet. So if you have an electric machine, you may just want to hand sew this part. And once you get all of your golf tees in, you can sew around them as close to the eyelets as possible to help them stay standing nice and tall. I even put a stitch in between each one to make sure they wouldn't slip out of place. And now you can sew those sides closed as well. Alright, now we can finally attach it to the table. I'm going to find some big buttons and measure a piece of elastic that will hold it secure to the table. Then I'll measure my button size on the end of the scissor pocket side. Next, I'll sew in my elastic and close up the other side. Then I'll sew in my buttonhole manually because I actually do it better manually than with the button foot. I know, go figure. And I'll slit them open. Then I'll hand sew my button to the end of the elastic. And that's it. Now I can add it to the table. Nice and secure. And I can add everything I need to do my next project. I won't have to carry scissors back and forth to each machine or wonder what I did with them, and my thread and bobbins are close for easy transitions. And on the serger, I never have to wonder where my tweezers are, and I still have a place for my scissors and pins. Let me know in the comments how you would change it to suit how you sew, and if you think this would actually help you stay organized. I'm hoping it works for me, but we'll just have to see.
And also, if you are interested in a tutorial for this off-the-shoulder sweater, I definitely have a video for that. And in that same video, there's another amazing Christmas sweater. And both of these sweaters that I did, you can do them to any sweaters. They don't have to have a Christmas theme. It's just something awesome to do to sweaters. So definitely watch that video after this one, and I know you're gonna enjoy it.
Definitely check out my other DIY gift ideas, and I'll see you tomorrow for the next one. Bye!